Okay, we are now going to discuss about the K lesion. This one is the second video on eyelid ophthalmology. So, K lesion is inflammation of lipogranuloma of meibomian gland. It is inflammation of lipogranuloma of meibomian gland is known as K lesion. So, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about the definition, causing precipitating factors of K lesion, pathogenesis of K lesion, clinical features of K lesion, fate of K lesion, and treatment of K lesion. Now coming to the K lesion, that before understanding it, we are looking at the normal anatomy of eyelid. Suppose this is eyelid, and here in the margin of eyelid there is a lid margin. Lid margin includes two types of gland. One are gland of Zeiss and gland of moles. This is gland of Zeiss, this is gland of mole, and here gland meibomian gland is present. This one is meibomian gland. This one is meibomian gland. So what happens when orifice of meibomian gland or duct of meibomian gland is blocked by certain infections or by bacterial or other causes? So what happens, there is accumulation of sebaceous gland, accumulation of sebum in the meibomian gland, which causes inflammation. That inflammation leads to development of K lesion. So in this way K lesion develop. Now coming to the etiology, there is, as I already told, obstruction of orifice of the duct. Obstruction occurs, then K lesion develops. Obstruction of orifice of meibomian gland, either by infections or other causes. That unknown cause may be happen, which may result in K lesion. That accumulation of sebaceous secretion within acne of the gland, that may result development of K lesion. Now coming to the precipitating factors. Precipitating factors include, there may be blepharitis. Blepharitis may cause development of K lesion. Blepharitis means inflammation of eyelid. When eyelid is inflamed because of different causes, because of bacterial causes, then there may be obstruction in duct of meibomian gland, and K lesion may be developed. Another precipitating factors, diabetes mellitus. Diabetic patient may also develop K lesion. That is the this is the pathogenesis of precipitating factors of K lesion. Now coming to the pathogenesis, that how K lesion is going to be developed. As I have told, that obstruction of orifice of meibomian gland, here obstruction causes retention of lipid secretion. That's why known as lipogranuloma. Lipid secretion retained here, accumulated here, and induces chronic inflammation. May cause chronic inflammation reaction, which may result into development of K lesion. And there may be chronic inflammation, so number of epithelioid cells and giant cell accumulation surrounded by sebaceous gland. These epithelioid cells and giant cells surrounded by sebaceous gland and gland acne and their content, plasma cells, lymphocyte, neutrophils are also present, because this is inflammatory reaction. So the retained lipid secretion along with inflammatory reacting cells causes visible swelling on eyelid. They cause visible swelling on eyelid. Suppose this is a normal eye, so patient will present with the swelling here. Patient will have the swelling. That swelling is only due to K lesion. So that is pathogenesis of K lesion. Then how it develops, there is duct obstruction results in inflammation of the meibomian gland. That inflammation leads to plasma cells, and it leads to their neutrophil accumulation, giant cell, epithelioid cell, and chemical reactions occurs, and there is inflammation of meibomian gland. This is pathogenesis. Now clinical features, patient present more common complaints. It is more common in upper eyelid because of number of meibomian gland are more in upper eyelid. Suppose this is upper eyelid and this one is lower eyelid, and this is cornea, this is eye. So in upper eyelid there are more number of meibomian gland. That more number of meibomian gland causes development of chalazion in upper eyelid. Patient complains that mostly eye get the infection of chalazion in upper eyelid only because there is increase in number of meibomian gland in upper eyelid. Now it is characterized by gradual painless swelling. Patient will have no pain, so it will be painless. It will be painless swelling. Patient will not complain about any type of pain. There will be no external sign of acute inflammation. Only the swelling may be seen, but there will be no inflammation. Painless swelling in an eyelid without external sign of acute inflammation. Palpitation indicates the small nodules in subcutaneous substance of eyelid. That when we will palpate the eyelid of the patient, there will be a small nodule like palpitation. And eversion of eyelid shows conjunctiva is red and purple over nodule. There may be fleshy mass if the lesion has ruptured through conjunctiva, or there may be blurred vision due to astigmatism caused by large chalazion in upper eyelid pressing the cornea. So astigmatism may be found in patient. Astigmatism. Okay, now coming to the fate of chalazion. Fate of chalazion means once chalazion is developed, then it may follow one of the following courses, like it may spontaneously complete resolution may occur, or it may get fibrosed into hard nodule, or it may liquefy to form thin fibrous scar, or it may calcify to form very hard nodule. There may be also infection and suppuration, and it may burst through conjunctiva as a fleshy mass. So fate of chalazion. Now suppose chalazion is going to develop in a patient. It may resolve, or it may get fibrosed into hard nodule. It may also liquefy, or it may calcify and become hard. So these are the fate of chalazion. Perhaps it may resolve, or it may fibrose and become hard. It depends upon the condition of the patient. Now coming to the complication, as I already told you in the clinical features of chalazion, that patient may develop astigmatism because chalazion can compress cornea, and patient may develop astigmatism, abnormal curvature of cornea due to compression by chalazion, and may complain about blur vision due to astigmatism. And there may be different painless swelling in present complication in the chalazion.